Today we're going to talk about the Battle of the Bulge. I've been asked to talk about it as soon as possible because I had several people interested in it, since it was reported to be the largest battle ever fought here by the United States Army. So we will be talking today then about the Battle of the Bulge. I have a few notes here so I don't miss on some of the things, and one of the first things I wanted to show you was the map here of our unit, and we were at the time of the Bulge, when it happened in the 16th of December. The 2nd Armored Division was way up here in Germany near the Ruhr River, and on the 21st of December, we were part of the 9th Army then, and 2nd Armored Division was transferred then to the 1st Army because of the problems down in the Bulge, and so General Harmon was called in. He was our division commander, and he was called in to report to General Collins, who was the corps commander of the unit that we were going to be with in the 1st Army. So we went from the 9th back to the 1st Army. The 9th Army and the 1st Army at that time was transferred from Bradley to Montgomery because the Germans were about to split the units in half in the Bulge, and so Eisenhower decided to put Montgomery in charge of the north part of the Bulge and Bradley the south part of the Bulge. That didn't go over very good with Bradley and some of the American generals, but anyway, Montgomery was our commander at that time, overall commander. General Harmon was called to General Simpson's headquarters after Simpson had been down on the 21st of December to talk to his commanders, and he was told that our unit was transferred to the 1st Army, and they were to be prepared to move out immediately, and that was on the 21st of December. And when Harmon got back to the headquarters, as Simpson got a hold of him and told him, "You're to move towards the tip of the Bulge, towards Seney and Salez in Belgium overnight. You're to move before midnight on the 21st, and you were supposed to be there on the 22nd, arrive in the area of the Meuse River." The Germans at that time were stuck at Bastogne, but Hitler decided that the heck with that, take 2 Panzer armies, the 9th and the 2nd, and have them go around Bastogne and head for the Meuse River so they could get across and head towards Liège and Antwerp to cut, because Antwerp was the biggest port at that time, receiving all of our equipment and supplies were coming in at Antwerp, and he wanted to take the port of Antwerp. That was Hitler's idea. Some of his generals didn't believe it could ever be done, but he wanted to do it. And so the 9th and the 2nd were headed towards the Meuse River. The 2nd Armored Division was told to move overnight and head down that way and to interfere with them. Now, Montgomery's orders to General Collins, who was the corps commander over Harmon at that time, that our division was to be quiet and to destroy all patches and anything we had, not to let the enemy know that that was the 2nd Armored Division that was moving down towards the tip of the Bulge. So there was 3,000 vehicles and 14,000 men that had to be moved overnight, and so it did very well. Harmon told the 82nd Reconnaissance to lead the way and to drop off a man at every road crossing so that they make sure that the guys that all the units stayed on the right road and all arrived together. And so the cat is in the movie right now. And but anyway, we're as we moved down, he had a guide at every road to keep the people from taking the wrong road, and they all night long they moved the division in the right direction. When they arrived on the 22nd in the area that we were supposed to arrive at, near Sanay and Salez, not right there, but a few miles from there, we were told not by Montgomery not to move, to stay quiet, and not to attack until you're told to. Well, what happened, our 82nd Reconnaissance ran into the enemy right away, and so they started fighting. So Harmon was real happy about that because he wanted to get into the fight. And so he notified General Collins to tell Montgomery that we're fighting, that we have to move. So Collins agreed, and he told Montgomery, we can't be quiet anymore, we got to move. So we moved on the 22nd, 23rd of December, started to battle with the 9th and the 2nd Panzer Divisions. I made a few notes here, and I didn't want to miss anything here. All right, let me take another look here a minute at my notes. I might mention that in my case, I had been wounded at the Roar River, and I was in England at a replacement center, and I went AWOL from the replacement center and headed back to my outfit back across the canal. I mean so anyway, I was on my way back on the Red Ball Highway, and they were riding with the black men that were bringing supplies up, and so as we went along, I would inquire as to where is the 2nd Armored Division, and I met them on the 22nd of December, the day that they were supposed to arrive in Belgium, and I met them there. And I remember the company commander says, where'd you come from? And I says, I went AWOL, and he says, you don't have any weapons or anything? And I remember telling him, don't worry about it, the first dead man, I'll have all the equipment I need. So that's what we usually do, is if we didn't have the equipment, we took it off one of our guys that was killed. And so I joined them there on the 22nd, and we engaged on the 22nd lightly, but then more of the units got involved, and we were having a lot of trouble around Sanay and Salez, and General White, our Combat B commander, knew that there was, we couldn't get any air support, but General White knew that there was a British Typhoon outfit across the river, and so he had no radio contact, so he sent a Piper Cub over to direct British Typhoons back across the Meuse River to where the fight was. And they said, I didn't see the actual Piper Cub coming in, but the book and the history of the 2nd Armored Division says it was quite a sight to see a Piper Cub in front of a bunch of Typhoons diving on the enemy, and then getting out of there in a hurry, showing the Typhoons where the enemy was. And the Typhoons did a lot in helping us stop the panzers in the area of Salez and Sanay. In that situation, we were very fortunate. We didn't lose a lot of men in that, but the Germans did lose quite a bit. We were in my book, and in the 2nd Armored Division book, they mention how much we had knocked out, and we had knocked out 81 tanks, 7 assault guns, 450 vehicles of all types, and 74 big guns. So that's what we had. The British, after we moved on and the British moved back across, they looked at all of the things that were knocked out, and that was their report of what was done. General Harmon and the division received a compliment from General Collins and General Hodges, and also Montgomery, for the job we did there. So that was something that General Harmon, who was our division commander, he was called Old Gravel Voice, and he was always ready to get in it and wanting to get into the fight. So he was with us in Africa, and then they changed him to the 1st Armored so he could be with them in Italy, and then he reverted back to us again for Europe. And so we were glad to get him back, because he was what we call a soldier's soldier. He was really a good man. And anyway, something I wanted to mention, the Germans masqueraded as Americans. When they first entered the Bulge, we were very weakly defending the Bulge, and they were able to capture a lot of American vehicles and that, and so they used the American vehicles and American uniforms to act as if they were Americans. And so they're moving up into our area. And so one of the things that really helped my outfit and me personally was the fact that I had commandeered a German field manual earlier in the war, and it's pretty well dilapidated now, but in that field manual it showed all of the German drills, such as how the soldiers were to carry their rifle, how they were to hit the ground when they hit the ground, and things like that. And so I was able to use the page where it showed how the enemy hit the ground. And one of the things that helped us a great deal is in their book was the World War I method of hitting the ground that they were teaching them, which was the same as the one we used at that time, because we had bolt action weapons. But when we got the Garand rifle, we were able to, with the semi-automatic, we hit the ground differently on both knees instead of one knee and sideways, which the Germans still did. So our method was, when we saw some troops out in front of us and didn't know whether they could be enemy or not, was to fire at them over their heads and see how they hit the ground. If they hit the ground the old method, we knew they were enemy, and we would fire on them. And so that was a great help during that time. And a lot of people don't know much about this, because I probably might have been the only platoon sergeant that had confiscated one of these books and knew the method that we could use. So that's that one. One of the things also, as we were part of Montgomery's outfit then, the British Second Army, because Montgomery took over the North Section, they had us wear green stripes underneath our chevrons, the non-commissioned officers, and for the officers to wear a green patch on their lapel, on their right by their rank, on the flap that went across there. So, and the reason they said was that Montgomery wanted the British to know who the combat leaders were that they would run into in the American Army, because they would have the green patch. So that was something that a lot of people didn't know about that, because that was only the people that was on the northern end of the Bulge. I'm looking at my notes again here a minute. Something else we ran into during that time is after we started moving back through Germany, back through Belgium and Luxembourg, and chasing the the Germans back into Germany, we found something new that we didn't know, is that the Germans had changed in many cases to plastic mines. Now, the plastic mines, you couldn't pick them up with a mine detector. So the plastic mines were very difficult for us to navigate and to know what was there until we found out that they were there. But they used the plastic so that our detectors couldn't pick up the metal on the mines. And that was something that a lot of people didn't know anything about also. The Battle of the Bulge, we lost a lot of people in it because originally there was troops put in the area there that were fairly new and hadn't been in much of a fight, or in any fight in some cases, and so they had given up pretty easily to the Germans because they didn't know what to do, and so we lost a lot of men that way. Our group, one of the biggest problems we had was frozen feet and people getting lost in the snow and that, getting lost from our outfits and that. And I had about 30-some men left with me during the beginning of the Bulge, and ended up, I had 7 at the end. And what happened, I didn't have those men killed. Most of them their feet got frozen and they got evacuated. And what General Harmon did, he didn't want the guys to go back to the hospitals because they would be changed to different units afterwards, and he wanted them to stay with their own units. So he developed an area of some buildings there in Belgium that he was able to have the guys at the frozen feet and that to go to this place and be as a makeshift hospital, and he had a dental officer taking care of the guys. And so a lot of the guys that would have had to go to a hospital did not have to go because of that. In later years, they judged that I had frozen feet, but it wasn't so severe that I couldn't get along, because as long as we kept moving, we were usually pretty good. But if we had to get in a hole at night or anything like that, we were always to have 2 people, and believe it or not, we had to hug each other to stay warm because there was no heat. And that's the one time when I used to always say that's the one time where women in foxholes would be very good, because we would be much warmer. But anyway, that's just a sidebar. The Battle of the Bulge, like they say, was one of the most, it was the biggest battle ever fought. Churchill really expounded on it, that due to the I have a plaque up on the wall that talks about all the units that were involved in it, and there was many units, and what it took to win it, and it was one of the last really drives that the Germans had, and of course I wasn't in the area where Piper was on the Malindi massacre. I wasn't involved in that. That was a different group, a different area. The 2nd Infantry Division was involved somewhat in that area, but we were the 2nd Armored Division, and we were not involved in the Malindi area. And so that's where the Germans killed a lot of American soldiers there. After they had given up, they lined them up and shot them all. And of course, that's all part of war. And I don't. There's several books out on it. There's General Harmon's book called Combat Commander, and there's books on the Battle of the Bulge, quite a few of them. Some of them only talk about Bastogne, which was not the way it was. Now, Bastogne did a great job of holding the enemy for quite a while, until Hitler decided to send his panzer armies around it and get to the Meuse River. And that's where we came in. And again, Bastogne was one of the major holding points during that war, during those battles, and it lasted from the 16th of December to the 21st of January, I believe it was. and we lost like 80-some thousand men in that, and of course the enemy lost a lot more than that. And but anyway, I'm going to get ready to shut it off for now, and hopefully I've covered enough of it. And I'm on paulandert.com and on my website. Also, I'm on YouTube and also on Facebook, so you can get some additional information on that from there. And so take care, be good, God bless everybody.